Alright, I've never really done one of these sketchbook tours. Now that this one is filled, I think it's important for me to go over it for myself and see in the future well, how I approach this and how I could improve on it in the future. So it's gonna be just me talking to myself, but you're welcome to join along. It's gonna be kind of a really strange mix of everything because well, it's actually just a sketchbook, so I want to explore as much as I can, and in the meantime, I'm just filling up the next sketchbook as we speak. But that's gonna take a while. I am trying to get some more into it in like a few weeks, as in I try to get at least to half of it, but who knows. So actually starting right away. This one is from a few days ago. I want to fill this page because this was still empty, and I already had kind of a rule back then that I needed to separate every page for separate sketches, but in the end that's not going to be a sketchbook, that's going to be an art book, and sketchbooks need to be messy and random and all that kind of stuff because it's, for studies. Which brings me actually to the real first page, and that is from 2020. Was still at uni at that point, but yeah, this is oil paint, and this was something I shouldn't have done because, again, I recently finished this entire sketchbook, but due to this being the first page, I already set the bar to a point where I needed to keep all of the art rules in mind, and I wasn't really allowed to make any mistakes or anything like that. So it's the fun was I personally got rid of the fun of sketching. So don't ever do that. And the problem with oil paint is also that it smudges onto other pages. So I went through this page and onto this one. You see some really clear smudges that I tried to draw over recently again. And this is where you see there's a lot more fun and randomness. So I try to do that in the next sketchbook where I don't have to set the bar that high. I also did that here with some hats where I would just use some references from photos and give it a slight twist with forms and such. Also again recently. And yeah, this is actually, this one, the bell pepper, is from not long after the other one, the oil painter. This one was fun to make, but again, this which is made with gouache, by the way. It sets up an example of everything needs to be realistic, or everything needs to be in color, or with a very specific medium, and that's not a good thing to do while you're sketching. So this one was, again, these two are recent, just stuff I found on the internet. That is, it's important to have something in front of you, but if you don't have anything, of course, I just go with photographs, and that went fine actually. This one has been empty for the past 4 years, so it was nice to finally add some stuff. On the left as well, here I started to kind of do more stuff with forms, and like here, for example, that's way more something I wanted to do, like the Sly Cooper style. But yeah, it's recent, so I hope to put that in the next sketchbook. This is actually also one of the old, I'd say 2020, early 2021 assignments where we had to draw our own ear and then later on paint it. Believe it or not, that is my ear, but because it's in what do you call it? Because it's in light, it almost looks like I'm Caucasian. And again, because it's oil paint, it smudges over to other pages. And this one was also recently from one of the sketch sessions that I gave. I believe some of you were in there as well who are maybe watching this. And here I'm already way more comfortable with just going in one single line. Still not enough, but soon enough it got better. And here are some other very basic ones from when I was still, this was during the pandemic actually, when we would do sessions in, I believe, Teams. I believe that was Windows Teams. I'm not sure if that's the case, but some of the people that I study with, they also joined along, so it was a strange time. Here are some random sketches of a character that I had in mind. The left is like a squirrel that would be the companion of the hero, which would be on the right, but well, yeah, it's needs some work. And these are some more life drawing sketches, I believe not long after the first one actually, I believe. Oh, yeah, no, it's way later. That's already towards the first end of the pandemic, I think. But again, very still messy lines and such, so I wasn't really confident on life drawing in general. Here I started to get a little more. This guy and this guy I was somewhat okay with, but still a lot of messy lines that I shouldn't make. If you want to just draw, you just have to draw more confident, or just draw one line and see what you can make out of it. So some other stuff that I did like was from him. I started to get a better feel of shading in general, or just making the entire body. That was also a main problem that I had here. You see all of those hair, it's kind of a body. Here it's only the torso, but here you actually see the entire body with shading and such. Again, not with him. With her I do see it, but yeah, still a lot of troubles that I had at the time with finishing an entire body. Later on this is some warm-up stuff. This was actually inspired by Samurai Jack that I watched with a friend of mine, and she and I I believe we finished it very quickly, but I really liked the art style and the shape language of it. So if you have a chance, go watch it. This is just my hand on the right, and later on these are starting to get into the life drawing sketches that I did with some friends of mine. One of them is actually, or a few of the pages later on, it's about that where we actually went to a museum where you could see the animals from, I believe, even prehistoric times set up, and it was really cool. But these are just some random studies. Oh yeah, no, I believe this is also one of them, one of the animals that we saw at the museum. And here's the first one that I was just sitting in front of the bison. Wisent, it's called, and from there I believe I did a few more, but not that much. I was way too much focused on how you make the fur and that kind of stuff, which shouldn't be that important. Yeah, it's don't do that. These are some of my mascot that I still have to work out later on, and this is inspired by Call of the Lamb, a game that I really love. And this is Hatham from Assassin's Creed 3, which was just great to draw, because he's this very menacing character, and to draw him looking at the sky with like fire below him, I believe, that's just something I wanted to do for a while. And these were some of the sketches in the museum. So this was like a pig that had a very specific name, but I don't remember. And this is one of the parrots that were there as well. Because it's all graphite, it easily smudged over onto the other page, which I should have taken care of before that with one of those sprays, you spray it on top and you let it dry, then it doesn't smudge as much. But again, it's a sketchbook, I shouldn't really think about it too much. And later on, actually, this is also part of the art style that I was trying to develop, that was also surprisingly recently. There was something that I believe I used my old style from 2014, I believe, and tried to mix it into more recent ones. And this one I made, this is just my own hands that I used as reference material. And I made it when I was a few weeks already working with the company I'm working with right now, that is about to close down. But again, it's an art company, so it was nice to do something along the lines of that. But yeah, I finished that also with oil paint. So this time it didn't smudge, by the way, because I put a sheet of paper next to it to make sure that nothing happened. And here I started to recently be more open with expressions and body languages and such. This one is from 20th of October, and this one is actually from way before that, I believe like half a year ago. And I think I just filled in a lot of space, which is random sketches on the 20th. This one is from, actually a month prior to that. And this is just me trying to explore that entire art style that I had in mind. So I also tried different shapes. Very, very important to not just stick with the regular ones, but also just try stuff that you already feel is not out in your comfort zone, and hope that you get something out of it that you never expected. So I'm happy with that. And this has to be empty. This is actually from Playgrounds, the art department, and I want to get autographs and that kind of stuff from the people who give talks there. So this one was from a guy who worked at Procreate. He was an animator, and to see how he was drawing stuff and setting up projects was really, really cool, inspiring and such. And this guy is from I believe not only Pirates of the Caribbean, but also Rango. He worked on Rango, Pirates of the Caribbean, I believe also another franchise that is very popular, I don't know. But he made Davy Jones, and that was really cool. I had a nice talk with him afterwards. So these ones have to remain empty for artists to put their autograph in, or drawings, whatever they want. And this is what this is also connected to that artist of Procreate. He made like a drawing for himself of a face, and he said to himself, I just fill in whatever is in my mind. So whatever you fill into the space of, in this case it looks like a W, you can just fill in anything that works with your mindset, and that's fine. So you have to watch the entire talk about it, but it was really inspiring. So I did that right after I got home from the talk. And actually, this is another thing of it. This is an entire exploration of how I can make my character for a company I'm doing. And this is, I believe, the second batch of just studies, but that one was also from a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, just compared to when I finished it, this entire book. And actually here I still cannot show this entire section because it's still in development, and I hope to actually show it soon, or be able to show it soon, because I'm really stoked about it. So I have to keep this hidden for now, but soon, hopefully soon. And these are some like wood fairy ideas, then you could imagine the size of your hand, or the size of your hand and slightly your forearm. It was something that was inspired by, I believe, not only Pan's Labyrinth, but also other stuff. I wanted to use it for other things, but in the end, the project became too big and I abandoned the project. So don't make your projects too big. And these were some of the other characters I had in mind. I'm not sure if they were directly connected with it, but it's in that same ballpark of more fantasy-like. And here actually you see some dots over here. Before that I made a study of just houses and stylized environments. I was very happy with that. But yeah, now here you can see like a kind of a open, a hole for it. It's let's be honest, I was very disappointed with how I couldn't get a single pose right that night, and it was in combination with the style choice and everything combination, and yeah, you just get frustrated sometimes. So I just pushed it in with a pencil, which I guess I think every artist goes through that certain frustration of not getting it right. Is always happening at one point, and I believe this was just mine. Over here it's just her judging what the hell I was doing back there. So don't take it too seriously when you're drawing stuff. Just have fun with it and see where it goes. And this actually is some of the sketches that I did, I believe, a few months ago. That is just, it wasn't that interesting, so I just went on to do some more studies, and in the end it was just, kind of a waste, because I didn't really do much with it afterwards. This was by the way when I first got new markers. The problem was, because I did it with dimmed light, I didn't realize how many of the colors were off, so that's the reason why she's pink. She's actually supposed to be orange or something like that. And these were some of the other characters that I did for some time ago as well, for the fairies and rabbit characters. Still didn't do much with it, but maybe in the future. And of course Ratchet. Later on I did continue with anatomy and such. This I wanted to include these in the same story, but didn't really know what kind of an art style I wanted to pick. But again, making anatomy is really fun to do in the meantime, and also important. So I just continued on by just filling the entire page with anatomy studies and pose studies and such. But it was good that I finally started to mix it all together and don't worry too much about the space in between. So sometimes you see here it's all smudged into one, but that's fine as long as the work's being made. Here again, some props. This was with some of my friends in a call, and we did this for I believe the second time, where we did a prop sketch session. This one came later, of course, and this was also around the time that I started to experiment a little with my markers. Don't get your hopes up for seeing more, by the way, because that's I didn't do much of it after this page with the markers. Maybe in the next sketchbook, hopefully. And this was also part of or at least what you see in the background here, as part of an environment sketch session. I'm not really into environments, so this was kind of not dull or anything. It's just, this is not really my style. And later on I just did it in my own style. This was, in my opinion, way more fun, so I kept it like that. And this was a warm-up for a sketch session where I was the timer. And the model was Ellie from where she was dressed, cosplayed as Ellie from The Last of Us. And yeah, because I'm a timer, so I make sure that everyone sticks to a routine. I am always focused on two things at once, so that doesn't give me the full opportunity to actually sketch or do anything in my own in my own style, because, well, yeah, you're always at two places at once. So I would highly recommend for you to go there and just zone out if you have the chance to one of those sketch sessions. And later on, I did kind of get my footing in it because I started to get more comfortable with drawing the model while also timing, and I got some interesting poses out of it, or at least some interesting sketches out of it. The model wasn't really she wasn't new to the entire thing, so I cannot blame her for picking some very I guess standard poses. It's normal. That's it's a difficult job to stand there for 10 minutes. Already 2 minutes is pretty much a workout. But in the end, yeah, still I got some stuff out of it. And also I started to just forget about realism. I just picked my own version of style, so also with the arms, with the legs, but mostly the face. I didn't care too much about making it too realistic, or just making sure that I didn't care about it being true to form 100%. And after that, it's always 1 hour, 1.5 hours of a cosplay model, and the next part, 1.5 hours, is a nude model. And this one, this lady happened to be a model before. She was a trooper last time. She not in this session, but the session before that, she actually managed to stand on her head for 5 minutes. That's insane. She is. I hope we see her soon again. But you're always scared for the model to accidentally get injured. So we were holding our breath together, everyone in the room. And this one, it was more, well, if I compare it to last session, this was more doable for her. So this was more her sitting and standing with props. And in the end, she did do something with rope. So she did stand on one foot for like 10 minutes. This was, so I was already was used to her doing something out of the ordinary, which I highly respect. But please, if you're a model, always make sure that you can do it for 10 minutes or shorter, because this is a difficult pose to hold. And this is some more sketches for just, I'd say, I'm not sure what I wanted to do. Just studying, and I think I just considered it perfect, because it's just I finished it. That's all that matters. These are more recent. This is about just me trying to get the pose down completely, but not using any graphite to erase. Just sketch everything all at once. So I was pretty happy with that. The blue pencil is really my thing, I believe. And in the end, I really like this style, because it really felt like I could. I think that was more the comfort zone I was at. So I think I'm going with more cartoony style in general. Still very important to draw the entire body. So these were from Proco, actually. The references are from Proco, and that really helped me to get into a mindset of just drawing and drawing and drawing. And I think, well, these are surprisingly mild, but later on there are more dynamic poses, and more dynamic poses in shorter amount of time. So I was happy that I could draw these in like 2 minutes, not together, but 2 minutes each. And it really started to sink in that I didn't have to rush as much, because there's always a timer on screen when you're doing one of those Proco live drawing sessions, and it really just gave me a mindset of just focus on the entire body, but don't focus on making all the details too correct. So this is a person sitting, this is a person kind of hanging, I'd say, not hanging, but the old-fashioned Renaissance poses. Same with her, and her is more modern, I'd say. Later on I tried to do the entire thing with, or the entire pose on one page, then you don't have to worry about keeping space for other stuff. But also just important to do some very specific sketches. So these are just face studies. These are more full body sketches. Same here. I'm not sure what happened here, but we're just gonna ignore that. This is actually the same pose, by the way, from a few pages ago. And I started to get more comfortable with using the entire page, especially here. This was very, I think almost here I was starting to sweat because I'm not sure if I could fit it on the page. Sometimes you'll see here, oh yeah, here, like for example, this is almost leaving the page, and that's kind of something you want to prevent. Maybe like a few inches top and bottom, something like that. That's fine. Here's more dynamic pose that I was happy about, but over here the lower part of the body is kind of, it's not anatomically correct, but at least the pose has some of the dynamic that I wanted. Same here, the dynamic is fine, but again I'm almost at the bottom of the page, or out of the bottom of the page, and I shouldn't be doing that. These were some other poses that I made, or poses, characters. I was very happy with the pose here, but then I drew the head and I don't know, was completely gone. These are some of the other characters I had in mind, maybe combine them in one story. This is some of the older characters I had from back in 2013, that I gave just a modern touch. This one I'm actually very happy about. It's a dwarf lady. I want to say it's a paladin, but she's carrying a shovel, so I'd say that's more of a knight type. Who knows? And this is her being, I like this one because it's her being tuckered out and only planting one tree, or seedling I guess, and showing that it's maybe more work than just planting something. Later on I went on to more regular poses, I'd say. This one I had to redo. I felt like this was completely incorrect, so I wanted to do again, but it's difficult for some reason to make the torso work, and I always have a problem with that. The torso is always either too narrow or too long. I'm not sure what's happening, or not the torso, the midriff part. So I hope to fix that in the future, but yeah, for now it's just a nice study, I guess. This one was from a few days ago. That's also about The Last Unicorn. It's a very, well, I wouldn't say old, but it's from the 80s. A story that also was written or animated by, what is it called again? I believe Basking, one of the old animation studios that unfortunately no longer exists. They also made The Hobbit and I believe Lord of the Rings, one of the few Lord of the Rings. And this is for Drawtober, which I got an idea for. This was Vampire. And Vampire, I wanted to give it a little bit of an old-timey style, but also very characterized and more of a caricature, I'd say. Not really nicely blended into a modern feel, but more the old-fashioned, oh, he's the villain or he is dangerous, something like that. Not quite Castlevania-like, but getting there. This is again some expression stuff. Really happy with this one because it felt like he was actually this big show-off or something. And this is the mascot again. And this was a creature I believe I was also inspired by one of the old Looney Tunes characters. But yeah, I was happy with that. Oh, and this is the next sketch session that I believe. I was asked to do timing, but I already signed up for just the drawing, and it's nice because that way, by not signing up for being the timer, that actually gave me the chance to just sink into the drawing session and don't focus on anything else but the models and the drawing. And I really needed that because these were two models. They were dressed as Alice from America McGee's Alice and Alice Madness Returns. If you haven't played those games, please do. They're really pretty. And this one, I believe, oh yeah, she was dragging her like. These are two Alices, and from what I understood, like one is trying to conquer the other because there can only be one. So she's dragging the other Alice out of frame. Here they are. Sorry. So I think it's wobbling a little bit. There we go. This is where they keep them each other. What do you call it? They're threatening each other with guns. That's the best way to describe it, I guess. And here actually there was the other model that was underneath her pleading, or I believe also trying to kind of fend off the knife that she was carrying. But it was 5 minutes and I didn't have enough time to draw the other one. So I just focused on one. And the second one, it's actually I was really happy with this one because I actually was at the front while the other people were kind of, I believe, yeah, over here there were most people, so they didn't get the right view of it in this case. So I even took a photo of this, and this was perfect as just sitting in the right place at the right time. But then I think I was thinking too much about how I should draw two people, so I kind of lost a little bit of confidence in this one. But that happens. You kind of have to let that go. Later on, they kind of did the same pose again, so I was already kind of used to it. But for next session, I maybe want to already study two people at once. And this one I do kind of like because it's both of them, but they were so separated from each other that I could just use 2 pages, and I think this was the right decision to make. It's really nice to just use the entirety of it. I could have drawn more stuff over here, but that goes against the idea I had in mind. And it was 15 minutes, so it's nice time to draw both. Next time I should make it more clear that what is happening here, because she was just ducking down, but it looks like an entire chaotic feel over there. And the next part was this was all Halloween themed, so the next part of the sketch session was a nude model, and he was a vampire he portrayed a vampire that was obsessed with consuming someone's heart, but in the end that what was it again? It was that he could not be satisfied with the blood of anyone else anymore, so he became kind of chaotic and just deprived of any kind of humanity that he had left. So that was his story, but it got somewhat suggestive throughout the entire session. And I think I'm not sure what was going on there, but slowly and surely I began to wonder how much of a, well, I don't know what to think of it, but it's just his poses were becoming very, very, well, you can see it. In the end, I was very happy with just getting the entire body on the pages, because sometimes over here as well, below here, you can see that I already cut off the feet accidentally. That's me just poor planning and such. But that's fine. In the end, yeah, you're starting to understand what I mean. So, especially this one. So the thing was that there was I was sitting in the front with some other people. There were people sitting on the left side, but there were also people sitting on the right side. So yeah, as he apologized in the end to the people on the right, but in ways to kind of censor it for themselves, they just drew a tail over there in between, which was kind of smart. And the last post he made was more, I'd say, PG friendly. I know it's more of an artsy. His way was more artsy, but I don't know, it wasn't really my vibe. So the next model is probably going to be either that lady from before, I believe, or someone else we had before. And let's see, here is an old concept. Well, old concept that was made in I believe 2014 or something by a guy who worked on Sly Cooper, and I tried to redraw that in my own style, or at least try to imitate it. First time it went okay, where I took it over completely, and the second time, well, yeah, we have that. So I don't really go in there anymore for now. Maybe later on. It's not really important to get that right, as long as it's full body. And the full body needs to be on there, and really I'm happy that in both cases most of the body is on there, because here I make the mistake again to draw it too big where it doesn't fit on the paper anymore. Same actually here, but this is just, yeah, sometimes you have to do some pre-planning, and maybe that's happening next time. And as ending, I guess, I did some props, more in the style of actually also Sly Cooper. The entire art style of that game is something that I really like, because it's a little bit exaggerated. Well, it's exaggerated. It's supposed to be, and I like that it's exaggerated here and there and everywhere. Same with the speakers, everything here. And yeah, we get to this part where it's also just very exaggerated, and props and everything I found on the internet. This one I actually have in my home, but this just I found on the internet. But that's gonna be it for now.